Hey guys, welcome back. So I decided that, well, this test selector idea is getting way too complex and it's going to be a really complex process to set up. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm just going to reorganize some things and maybe we'll create an overall position breakdown graph. So I'm going to move this here. I'll move these down. Um, to give us space because we want our graphs, or I don't really know how this is all going to work out yet. Maybe the table is way up here and there's the graphs are down the side, but they may get filtered out. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but we can play around. But pretty much we don't need this body weight graph anymore unless it's something we want to look at. I'm going to do a position breakdown, let's say for the overall score. So I'm going to come in here. Now we have the all, and then we have forward defenseman goalie. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. Select forward defenseman goalie, insert, and we'll go to the chart that we want. It might be a bar chart. And I'm going to go to this graph. I don't remember if I did this last time, but what we can do, let's say we like the way this looks. I'm going to save this as a template. And I have a bunch of stuff in here, but let's just say it's called performance graph. I just saved it. Now what I can do is for the graph that I just created, I think I can go to change chart type from templates. It's going to be different for a Mac than a PC, but you should have templates somewhere. And here are all my templates that I have for whatever reason. And my performance graph is right here. So if I select that one, I can use it. Maybe I want another one that I've already, that I've done in a different way. But yeah, you know what? Why not? Let's just do this one instead. So that's a little bit more simple. There we go. It has a transparent background and chart title would go here. And now let's format this axis, or sorry, let's select the data and select our axes names, which are these three things here. Click enter. And now maybe I can change series 1 to be overall score, just so we know what's going on there. Click enter. And I'll do a sort of, I'll play around with this a little bit. So these are using gradients. So if I go to format data point here, and I go to fill, you'll see that I have a gradient set up. Maybe I want this one to be also a gradient, and also maybe this color is not the color that I would need to use. I'd probably brand this for whatever team is, or whatever the team is that I'm working on. Excuse me. So maybe I do black, blue, black, blue. Yeah, I can do gold on it on every one. Maybe I'll do gold to black. Oops, black to gold. Maybe I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along. Gradient. Do them all the same to start, and this one's black. This one maybe it's a different color. Maybe it's blue, that dark blue color that we had before, and maybe this one is, I don't know. Again, I don't know what to do here, so just making this up. Or maybe it's a lighter color of this blue color. More colors, lighter. Yeah, I don't like the way that looks either. This is a very personal thing, so I don't know. There's one. Maybe the other one is a gray to black type of gradient. Just gotta remember. All right, so the dark side is on that end, and the light side is on this end. This gray needs to be a little bit darker. And this one I don't know what colors would be. I should have looked at some colors before I did this. Maybe it's some sort of orangish color. I don't really know. Do that, and then I'll go to more colors, and let's just make it darker, which is actually kind of a goldish color. So maybe I go with red. Red might be better. More colors, the red, and let's that way. This over this way, over that way. Okay. Now I have a graph, and I can change some formatting around and stuff. But I'll copy this graph. Maybe first I will remove the decimal points from these data labels. I'll right click, go to Format Data Labels, Number, and go to Number, and remove the decimal places here. We can also do it from here if we want. So if, for example, if I were to put all these back, all these scores, because that's kind of what we're looking at here, if I were to put all these to, well, they are a number, but if I were to reduce the number of decimal points, that'll also change my axis, so I don't have to do them both individually. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go into my team plan. This is the overall position breakdown. I'll do that. Right now the font is really big, so maybe I make this font 10 for now, and put these back to being white, or maybe they are black and they go over top so that I don't have to deal with that if they are small graphs. So I'm formatting the data labels again, and I'm saying outside end. And if I bring this out a little bit, okay. So here's one graph, and if we're okay with the way that this looks, and I just don't really know what to do, so I'm just gonna, I need the lines to be solid line. I just want all the lines to be solid. Let's make the lines black because that's just kind of neutral. Solid line of black. Okay, so this is kind of neutral, and we have colors of whatever our team is, which might be red and blue. And okay, so now we have a position breakdown. I'll remove the chart title, or I'll just say overall. Let's make it 10. Other stuff. Say overall score, so that we know what's going on. Make it skinnier if we want. I don't know if they'll ever. So there's a tiny little graph that we have, and what I can do now, maybe I'll save this as a template, and I'll call this performance graph 2. And now it gets really easy from here. So what we can do is we can just do the same thing that we did before for each of our scores. I'm going to delete this because I don't need it. And I'm going to go to my next score, which is the screen score revised. Select everything, or the bottom 3, the positions. Insert, and I'm going to go to chart. There are their scores. I'm going to right click and go change chart type. Go to templates. This looks like the one that I just did. Performance graph 2, okay. Click enter. Now I have a graph that looks just like that, and maybe I call it again. This is screen score. I can copy this graph that I have here, go into my team plan, and this is category 5, so this would be all the way down here, and I'm going to remove this stuff, make that no fill, and I'll paste it. I've got another little graph, and I still need to deal with the axes. I understand that. I'm not sure why the axes didn't carry over, but I'll select the data. This will be called screen score, and then the axis will be, go to here and select the same thing that I did before. And we might not even need an axis in every one of these. if we have like some sort of area that just says blue, blue is goalie, black is defenseman, red is forward, then we could just kind of not have to do this. But so now we got two graphs, and maybe we make these scales the same also. I didn't think about that. Maybe they're all 0 to 100 because that's what the score range is, and maybe it's 25, 50 maybe if the graph is small. We do the same thing here, right click, format axis, and just go to 0, 100, and maybe it's 50. So then we got little boxes of scores here. And I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do the same process for every category, so at least we have a position breakdown graph for each, and we can move them around later. So I'm going to do the same thing. Go to the graph org here. Select these three. Insert chart. Right click. Go to change series chart type. So you're going to see this again and again. Hopefully it gets kind of ingrained in your head. This one. Click enter, and I'll name it to be if that's a speed score. And we can right click. And I might overwrite the template that I have. I might change the axis, for example. Go from 0 to 100, set it up the way that all the other ones are, so that would make more sense, so I don't have to keep on doing it. Make it 50, and then select the data here. Maybe I saved it before I did that. So I'll select the data here, select these three guys, click OK, and then for series name, I'll actually name it, I'll name it power score, or speed score. Click OK. Click OK. Now if I go back to the graph, I can remove this one. I don't need it. It's already on my other page. I'll save as template, and I'm just typing performance graphs 2. That's what it was before. I'll save it, overwrite it, and now I'll copy this graph, and I'll paste it into my team plan. Again, I don't know where these are going to go. Maybe for now I'll just organize it a little bit better. So I'll just put them all in the same area at least. And what we can do is to make sure that they're all the same size, we can do that by selecting a bunch of them and changing the graph settings. For example, if I hold down Control and select all three of these, you go to Shape Format. Maybe I go 3 and 2, but at the very least, now they're all the same size. So this might be 1 and 1.5, or maybe this is also 1.5. I don't know, but we can be consistent in that way for whatever we decide to choose as the size of these. For now, I think this is fine. So let's go to the graph org, and again, just going to do the same thing. Insert chart. Oops. And I'll change chart type. Go to my templates. Performance graph 2, and it looks like it just doesn't take the x-axis. At least this stays the way that it should. I'll select the data, or select the data, change this to conditioning score, change the axes, the x-axis to be these three guys, click OK, click OK, and the chart title, conditioning score, and I'll copy this chart. Go into my team plan, and let's paste it in, and I'll just go just to make the same for now, 1.5 and 1.5, because that's what all the other ones are. And nestle it up in there so we can see them all. Come back here, and yep, this is repetitive, but hopefully we'll have everything that we need. So insert, chart. I don't even know if I can actually, and we can do all this at once, like all at one time if I did multiple and change the templates at the same time. But anyways, change the template, change it to my template that I made. And let's change the title. I know I'm keep on going in a different order. Strength, score. You'll get in the flow of it once you know what you need to adjust. Format the axis. Oops, not format the axis. I actually need to select the data. Say strength, score, edit the axis. Okay, okay. I think what we can do also, oh no, if I do, what does a legend look like? I wonder if I delete the axis. Yeah, so I mean, I guess you could have a legend for each if you wanted to and not show the axis if words are getting in the way, but we'll deal with that later. So now I'll copy this, go back to my team plan, paste it in. Let's go 1.5, 1.5, 5, 1.5. There we go. Another little guy. And just going to do it again. Get rid of him. Select these three. Insert chart. And these, again, these areas might be different for you than they are for me, depending on your PC and where things live. But we are doing this in a way, change it to a template, where this should all be compatible with older Excel versions. This is very intentional, the way that I'm doing this, so that no matter what PC you have, or computer or laptop you have, it'll work. So that's really important, because there are, depending on your version, there are different ways to do this, and if you have a newer version, like for example, there's a much quicker way to do a lot of this stuff. But it is what it is, so I'm just going to keep on rolling. Power score. At the very least, you'll know some essential, you'll be able to know how to do things if you're a sports scientist or something like that, on various different PCs and stuff like that. It'll be compatible in all those frameworks in case you move to a situation where you're not fortunate enough to have the most extensive Excel as it stands today. So power score is done. That's it. That's it. Oh, all right, yeah. So we just got through them. We got 6 total things here. I'm gonna remove all this stuff, clear it out, and maybe I make the header of a team dashboard or team fitness testing results. Make it big, bold. I'll just format it in a way where it's similar to the colors that we have. Let me actually go into this graph and find out. Format this. I'm just going to see what this looks like. What color is this? And the way that you can do that is, I must be missing something right now. Oh, here. You can go to more colors and it'll give you kind of a code or whatever you need. Maybe I just do this as the exact same as the blue. So I will fill it with something, and I'll go to more fill colors, and I'll paste in this blue. Should have a number sign next to it, and make it white. And I'm just going to change this whole thing to the bond script thing. So let's change it all to bond script because that's what we're using. 10. Make everything font size 10. Still need to remove this. So now things are looking a little bit better, right? I mean, we got some graphs here that we can play around with and use. And maybe the last thing that I want to do is format this status thing here. Why not? I guess you kind of quickly want to know who's full and who wasn't. So one thing that we can do is we can either put a number to this and put it in our player plan, which might make sense, especially if we, no, it's fine. We can select this and go to icon sets, I think. Manage the rules and the conditional formatting. I wonder if I can just say value. No, probably not. I don't know if they're going to work with text. So yeah, let's, just in case we want to use icons, let's create something in our data set here where, so we have position, group, text, we have the participation status, maybe there's another column. Adding it here, I should add it at the end. And let's just call this participation status number. So equals if, so equals this, if that equals full, comma, then, I don't know, 1 or 3. If this equals limited, comma, then let's make it 2. And finally, if this equals quote out, then comma 1. And we can just, I think there's a bunch of parentheses that we need to close out. I did too many. So now what we should have, I'm going to change this to a number, and 3s should be fulls, and anyone that is limited, filtering the table down, should have a 2, and everyone that is out should have a 1. So that's great. Undo this. And now when we go back to our team performance area, or our team plan, we can just change what we're looking at here. So instead of participation status, we can change this to participation status number, which is now something in our data set. I'll click enter. And now we have that number there, and we don't have to show it if we don't want. So now we can mess around with the conditional formatting that we applied. Go conditional manage rules, go in here. So we need this to be a number. We need this to be a number. And now if it's green, it needs to be greater than or equal to 3. If it's yellow, orange, it has to be greater than or equal to 2. And other than that, which is essentially ones, it's going to be red. And we can say show the icon only, and do that. Click apply. Now there's no number there, and maybe this is, put it in the middle. And we quickly see who's active and who's not. And remember, these two things are controlling the graph. So if we change this to U18, all the numbers in the graph will change, and if this is changed to all, same thing will happen. So we set up a pretty dynamic framework with these graphs, which could be these graphs or any graphs you decide to display. In the next video, we'll maybe organize this a little bit. I just need to think more about it. And yeah, and then we're almost there. We'll create some position averages that might go just in general for every single metric in case we wanted to, pop something out and see what the averages were for the position for the entire thing. So, yep, that's all I got for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.